Hey guys, Shawn Ziem, the Connection Machine, aka the Insurance Doctor. Another Connection Conversation show, guys. I'm making sure that we are providing as much value as possible, things that you can learn from, that you can implement, that deals with your business, with your life, etc. So listen to during our conversation, take some notes. If you have to replay it, replay it. And a couple housekeeping rules. If you're watching live, please hashtag live. And where are you watching from? And if you have a business, drop that in the comments so we can use this as networking. And if it's on the replay, hashtag replay. And if you have questions along the way, you agree, disagree, drop some emojis, comments. We love, love, love for that to happen. And don't forget to hit that share button. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe and hit that notification bell because I'm dropping content consistently. Let me bring on another friend of mine who we will go into a great conversation. It's Eva Malone. How are you? Thanks for joining us.
I'm very good. How are you? Great to see you again.
Great to see you. I have my assistant with me, Alexander, and
Amazing.
multitasking at the moment, but that's what we have to do to make things happen. So I wanted to, as always, have my guests introduce themselves, tell us who you are and what you do.
My name is Eva Malone. I'm a partner at Malone Financial Services. We're a small boutique firm that advises smaller clients and larger clients to navigate a financial world. We help clients with tax efficiency, estate planning, business succession planning, investments. We have, different departments, different advisors who can kind of navigate the process and help the client with whatever needs they may have. I specifically specialize in estate planning, as well as 401k planning. So that would be personally me handling this. But again, we have several other people in the firm that can help you navigate quite difficult financial world.
I appreciate you being with us today. Everyone, please pause for a moment. And we are back, and I want to go into some more detail. A lot of times I want to remind people, we're not scripted. This is all authentic. This is us being real. This is us like just having a phone call, but you actually are hearing what we're talking about. So before we even got on the call, we were discussing how our business is set up and how we're generating leads. And I said, hey, Eva, let's talk about this and let's get some value besides what we're going to talk about as well. So the question was about getting leads online and how. Well, let me have you start it off.
So the conversation we had is, in my practice, a lot of the clients that we get or we convert is different referral partners, such as accountants, attorneys. Majority of our business also comes from a past clients, which is a great reward. And our conversion rate, which we discussed, was very high, 70, 80%, right? So on 100 clients referrals we get, 70 of them closes to 80. However, when we go to a territory of an online prospecting, the turnover is very low. At least for me, in my practice, I've talked to several other people, and in my world, the conversion is very small. And Shawn, immediately jumped on it and said, hey, let's talk about it online. And I said, okay, and again, as he said, it's completely unscripted. So you never know what he's going to ask you and you never know what's going to come out of the conversation. So probably he has some tricks and tips for an online prospecting. So I would love to, hand it back to you and give us maybe some insight.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people use social media and they use it to share about their family, their friends, their dogs, their cats, what have you. They use it for business, but they also just say, hey, use me for insurance, use me for financial services, use me for real estate. And nobody gets leads from that. A lot of times, yes, they're looking for cheap online. But what I've done, and I think a lot of people should start doing, is using online as a networking platform of people that you currently know and you've spoken to and have conversations and met in person, if not in person, done something like this. And these are the people that are your secret sales force that are out in social media. So when someone says, hey, I need homeowners insurance, I'm tagged. Hey, I need someone to discuss my financial services, you might be tagged. A lot of times it's just putting information, content out, teaching others what you're doing, and that's how it can come back as far as good leads. I agree with you they're random. I get a call from somebody. Oh, I saw a post and you were talking about homeowners insurance, and I want homeowner, and there is nothing. They're not even qualified. They're not, didn't even have any contract yet, and we're trying to get information. It's like, you want a bogus quote. Then it's like, you don't want something real. Or you get people that are in a bad situation, like a lapse in coverage. They don't tell you that in the beginning of the conversation, and then when you're like, oh, do you have current policy, or do you have this or that, they're like, oh no. So it's like, wait, you have no insurance, and now you want me to replace a cheap policy you had that wasn't even properly underwritten with something that you want, and it's going to be more expensive. They're like, wait, it's going to be more expensive? I want it cheaper. I'm like, that's not how it works. If you want something that is written properly and you have the right coverage, you need to have a fair premium, not cheap.
Yeah, and that's a great point, and just again, as this conversation is very unscripted, people don't realize that the insurance is as good as it pays out in the event of the claim. And a lot of people like cheap, quick solutions. I recently had a great conversation with a realtor, and she's like, hey, I'm buying all this investment properties. I got to do LLC. And I said, listen, in the event of a claim, slip and fall or whatever, and again, I'm not an insurance agent for PNC, for property and casualty, but I own a lot of real estate myself because I truly believe that real estate is one of the diversification of your assets, and everyone should own real estate. It's kind of a hedge in your portfolio of arrays of investments that you should have. One of the things that I say, if you don't have umbrella coverage, if you're not properly, or you don't have educated property and casualty insurance person, I'm not one of them that's going to comment, but I'll always ask in my fact finder, what insurance do you have? How are you insured? Because if something goes off and you lose a big asset such as real estate, and you have an underlying $500,000 mortgage or $1 million mortgage, and now a homeowner's insurance is not properly prepared to pay the claim, now we have a problem in your estate planning or financial planning, simply because now I have to allocate assets to pay whatever the insurance didn't cover, right? So I always tell the clients, make sure that you have the right property and casualty review. Make sure you check it every year, because the laws change, the coverages changes. And, a spin-off on that is a very unsexy topic that no one wants to talk about, which we also touched on the prior call, is insuring your own life and your own family, because people tend not to do this. And then, you and I, we had a lengthy conversation about, I cannot open Facebook anymore and see those GoFundMe pages.
Yes.
It's not like people are passing away. They just have a medical hiccup, or, something happened medically and they cannot perform their duties of work for the next 6 or 12 months. And if they don't have an income coming in, their whole finances is in a disarray. And you and I, we had a conversation. There is no need in the United States, and I'm an immigrant, right? So I grew up in Poland. There was no financial, literacy. There was no financial platforms in 1990, 1989. The communism broke. So the markets are very new. Right now, we do have life insurances back in Poland, but years back we didn't. In America, you guys have all this opportunity, all this knowledge, all these resources. There is no need for anyone to be a GoFundMe page. So, going back to the basics, spend $50, $70 a month, insure yourself correctly. Spend extra $30 a month on the home insurance. Make sure that you get insured correctly. Otherwise, you're going to be in a very difficult position.
Yeah, I mean, you hit it right there. As far as the financial education, people don't know what they don't know. And they think that, oh, I was taught this way from my parents or my family, and they don't have that. Why should I? And they're not listening. They're not having an open mindset. And it's setting them up to have some issues down the road if you don't have things in place, life insurance, homeowners insurance, auto insurance, what have you. It's important to have the right things in place so that you are going to be leaving your legacy, so that when you are not here, you're going to have people be taken care of. But the financial education is missing, I believe, right? In America, but nobody has, you don't learn about it in high school that detailed, yeah. Right? It's something that everyone's learning about it in a book, a Rich Dad, Poor Dad, if they pick up that kind of book. If not, they're not getting that, right?
Yes. And, I see the problem in today's world is that there is so much information, and anyone and everyone who goes online seems to be an expert, right? and no one does the proper vetting, and it's very hard for the consumer to find like what's true, what's not true, what's the right way to do it, or what's the wrong way to do it. And again, it's so much information that it's so hard to navigate. And again, they don't have a baseline in the school system where you could know how to write a check, how to balance your checkbook, what's the profit and loss if I take a student loan. Even the parents don't know. I mean, those are the lengthy conversations I have, that parents in their 50s, 60s sign off on those student loans for their children, and then the child cannot get a job. They're stuck paying $1,200, $1,300 a month in student loans at a 9-10% interest rate, and they're 5, 6, 7 years out of retirement. So they're setting up the children for failure as well as themselves. So again, lack of financial education, lack of transparency, lack of even a basic knowledge. I'm signing this financial document, but I don't necessarily know what I'm signing, right? Like, well, my kid needs a student loan, so I'm just going to sign. And that's really where more of those educational classes, more of those information out there will help people and the consumers to make the right decision, and kind of pinpoint them to say, this is what you need to focus on, and this is how you need to protect assets, your family. And sometimes you have to learn how to say no to children. I mean, the best. They all want something, right? But you're the parent, you're the guardian to say, listen, you can't get that, right? And now goes for going to a college that it's $70,000 a year that not necessarily the parents can afford. And because everyone is doing it, that doesn't mean it's suitable to your budget and to your child. So those are tough conversations. A lot of times we're having those conversations with 50, 16-year-olds. We bring them to the table. They get equal seat, because I feel like when you're 15 or 16, you have enough brain to understand what is going to be happening to your life in the next 4 years or 3 years when you enter college, and what does it mean if you start taking student loans. My niece is one of them that I gave her a hard line. I said, you're not going to a $60,000 school because you're going to have a $1,300 payment. But once I broke it down to her, you graduate, you have $200,000 in debt, and your monthly payment is $1,300 a month. Almost like a light bulb went out in her head. So because they're young, that doesn't mean they don't understand. They totally understand. We just have to give them an equal seat at the table to say, let's have financial conversation, because this will be your life, not ours. And you need to understand what you're setting up yourself for.
I like how you said that. It's giving them the information, let them reflect on it, and see that, look, they don't realize 60,000, 75,000, 100,000, how much in debt they're going to be, and how much they're going to be monthly, how they're going to be as soon as they graduate, having a job or not. Those bills are going to start coming. And if
Correct.
you don't have that set up, and if you didn't choose the right major, if you choose to go to college and not go down entrepreneurship, you're going to have some soul searching to figure out how to pay those bills. So it's important that you have those conversations. Time flies when we're having fun. We have all of Eva's information that I want you to connect. It's in the description. Don't forget, give her a shout. She has a wealth of knowledge. She will take some time, teach you a couple, strategies. If you have an open mind, you are one that she could definitely help. Is there any final thoughts, Eva, that you can share with us today with either financial services, marketing, social media, mindset, whatever you think of?
I would say that people have to shift their mindset to think about finances, because finances are a very uncomfortable topic. Nobody wants to, think about it. And when they're not really in a great financial position, they completely don't want to think about it because it's easier to blank it out. And I always tell my clients, no matter how bad it is, you're going to face this sooner or later in your life. The sooner you want to face this issue or your situation, the better it is for you, because you have the time to solve it. So I would wish, or I would want people to spend 20 minutes every week to try to organize, to try to think where they are. And a lot of things they can solve it themselves, or they can reach out to us, and we would give them a comprehensive review of where they want to go. And again, use a bunch of free apps like mint.com. They'll help you with budgeting, but start thinking about it to set yourself in a better position.
Well, thank you so much for being with us today. Again, reach out to Eva. Again, all her information is in the contact information. Check out any of these videos that are at this time, and don't forget to subscribe. And as always, we hope you have an awesome rest of your day.
Thank you so much for having me.